Yes. So today let us start the next lecture about the IUPAC naming and nomenclature of inorganic complexes, that is called the coordinate complexes, and we'll try to learn the different rules regulating the ionic complexes or neutral complexes, how we can write the name, how can we write the IUPAC naming. So before starting this topic, starting this topic, you are knowing there's a common method of the IUPAC naming now for organic chemistry. The same way in inorganic, the coordination complexes has their own rules and methods to write the different names. Today we'll discuss about all those related rules and regulations that can be feasible to write inorganic compounds, inorganic coordination complexes. Let us start. Okay. We have three major, I hope so, three major categories that we can divide how we can write the naming. And for that, we actually have three different rules. First, how to name the ligands. What terms, suffixes are the special categories the ligands can be divided to write the names. The second one is, what about the central metal atoms look like in their names during cationic or anionic complexes, sometimes neutral also. And what about the counter ions present along with the complexes, how we can write to name these counter ions. So we can divide into these three categories, and we have to learn first to write the name of the ligands, because that is very important. Okay, what is the common method? Let's discuss about that. The common method is always to write the name of the cations. Cation's name is always first. Cation's name is always first. So name of the cations, that is the basic general rules. Name of cations. After that, after naming of the cations, we have to be ensure the naming of the ligands present along with the complexes. Okay, so name of the ligands. Name of ligands along with their suffixes, their numbers alphabetically. That is very important one, alphabetical order. Name of ligands and their numbers with proper terms. After that, we have to be ensure the writing the name of the central metal atom or atom. So name of central atom, name of central atom or ion, that is very important. Then after, you have to be ensure the naming of the mentioning the oxidation number in the parenthesis, this means in square bracket, oxidation number in Roman. Oxidation number in Roman. That is a common method to write the name of the inorganic complexes. Name of cations first. We divided generally the inorganic complexes into three categories, as I answered earlier. That three categories are first, cationic complexes. Second, neutral complexes. And third, anionic complexes. Anionic complexes. Students, the cationic complexes and neutral complexes has a common method to write the name of that central metal atom. But for the anionic complexes, the central metal atom or ion must be end with the ATE, a special term used for anionic complexes. Okay, the name must be end with the ATE. As cobalt can be written as cobaltate, iron can be written as ferrate, nickel as nickelate, zinc as zincate, the chromium as chromate, and other name must be end with the ATE, platinate as the platinum. Okay, cuprate or cuprate for copper. So this is the special term used for, that is called suffix actually. Suffix used for anionic complexes only. Mention it. Anionic complexes only. ATE must be added with the name. If the metal named after in a Roman or in Latin languages, they must be end with ATE in their that name. As gold is aurum, so that will be aurate. As iron known as ferrum, so that will be this will be ferrate. This is a kind of naming to write the central metal atom in the case of anionic complexes. By the way, how to distinguish that? How we can that identify that the given complex is cationic, anionic, or neutral? This is very simple one. Suppose the complex, if the complex is negative, means anionic. If the complex carry a negative charge, it must be satisfied by the positive counter ion. So here must be some metal with some charge. So if the complex is started with some metal as a counter ion, the complex must be anionic. If there is no any counter ion present along with the complexes, it must be neutral, because no counter ion to satisfy the charge of the complex, because there is no charge actually. And then next case, if there is cationic complex, so must be there should be some anion with their charges, because that anion must be satisfy or neutralize the charge of the present on the cation. So this is the simple way to distinguish or identify the types of cationic, anionic, or neutral complexes. Then we can mention the different naming. As I said, the common method of naming is to be write the first name of cations. You can now identify where the name of cations come first. You can see in anionic complexes the cations are given. So first we have to be write the cationic name, the name of the cations. For example, you know the K4 Fe6 is a cationic, anionic complex, and we have to be write the first name of the cation. In the case of nickel, this complex, this must be neutral, because carbon monoxide is also neutral, and there will be no charge appeared on the nickel R complex. In the case of here cobalt, suppose CuCl6 and there is Cl3. Now we can mention that this is a cationic complex because there is presence of anion that we satisfy the charge present on the complex. So simply you can just identify the different types of charge present on the complexes. Okay, this is one of the way to identify the complex first. Fine. Okay, let's discuss how we have to write the name. Now, as I mentioned here, name of cations, but here is no cations. Here is no cations. So we will start from the name of ligands and their number with the proper terms. Proper terms means what different terms are used for the ligands. Generally, it is a very easy name actually. The anionic ligands, all those ligands having a negative charge must be and with a proper suffix called IDO. IDO. The anionic complex must be ended with the IDO. As chlorido, bromido, iodido, nitrido, hydroxido. So these are some proper IDO terms must be ended with the cyanido, as you can say, with the only anionic ligands. Ligands may be a neutral also. So then generally neutral ligands are just named as the name of the ligands are. Means there is no any proper suffix or prefix are used for the neutral ligands. except some of the ligands are there. That has to be actually named with some proper terms. As water is written as aqua and ammonia written as amine. That is some proper term I have to be given. I'm going to write this one. Okay, you have to be go through that also. Okay, wait. So look at here. How to start the naming? First, we have to name the name of ligands and their name, their numbers with the proper terms. That is called suffix alphabetically. So you can see there are 6 chloride, only chloride. So we have to use chlorido. And what is the numeral suffix and numeral prefix? The prefix and suffix used for the numbers are called numeral prefix or numeral suffix. Or you can say the 6 chlorine here, 6 chloride. So it can be written as hexachlorido. Hexachlorido means, as in organic chemistry we are using monoditripentahexa for the numeral suffix and prefix. The same term we are going to add here also, but there is some differentiation also, a proper differentiation. How? Look at the differentiation. I have one name and you are knowing that name also, CS2NH2. Its name is, its IUPAC name is 1,2-ethane 1,2-diamine. Ethane 1,2-diamine. If ligand already contain a numeral prefix like di, tri, tetra, penta, if ligand already consists or contain a numeral prefix like monoditripentahexa, then no further monoditri are used for that. Means what? So how we can mention? Suppose we have complex like this. Look at the complex. Look at the complex this. COEN plus 3, thrice. In a simple abbreviation used for ethane diamine. Ethane diamine is abbreviated, means asserted by a simple term called ene. As we know, the methyl can be written as Me, the phenyl can be written as PH, the alkyl can be written as R. That is called abbreviations, abbreviating using for the different terms. The same way, the ethane diamine can be abbreviated or asserted by EN, that is mean ethane diamine, ethane 1,2-diamine. Now you can see the ethane 1,2-diamine are used thrice in a complex. So you have to be use the numeral prefix or suffix like a tri, as we mentioned here, hexa, tetra, hexa. So can we write a tri? No. What I said? No. Why? Because if the ligand is already consist a numeral prefix like monoditri, no further numeral prefix are used for that. So what term we have to be used instead of that monoditri? For that we have to be use bis, trice, means instead of di we have to use bis, bis, indicating the given ligand repeated 2 times, trice, tris, trice for the repeating 3 times, and if somehow repeating 4 times, it is called tetrakis. Tetrakis, the spelling is same as T-E-T-R-A-K-I-S. So that will be tetrakis for the repeating 4 times, pentakis repeating 5 times. So instead of monodi, tri, tetra, penta, we have to be use di, instead of di, bis, instead of tri, trice, instead of tetra, tetrakis, instead of penta, pentakis. These terms are only used when there is already numeral prefixes are given in the name of the ligand as given here. So it will be called trice ethane 1,2-diamine. One major terms here also, during writing the ligands, in the case of this type of when the ligands already contain a numeral prefixes, the name must be enclosed in the again parenthesis, means it's the small bracket. because there is we are using bis also, so we have to be used like this: bis, common, then ethane, 1,2-diamine. So we have to be enclosed the name of the ligand in the square small bracket, and before that we have to be use that bis, indicating thrice here, indicating the 3-time repetition. Okay. What we observed that some common pattern to write the inorganic complexes naming. Some common pattern. What? How to start the naming, how to identify two different complexes, what terms used for ligands, what terms used for the numeral prefixes. For the general case, we have to be used mono, di, tri, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, deca. But in the case of ligand having already a numeral prefix like di, tri, penta, we have to be used bis, tris, tetrakis, pentakis, hexakis instead of the general numeral prefix. Fine. Okay. Now let's start some kind of naming. How? Let's start this naming of the same complexes given here and try to identify, is it okay to write the name or we have to learn some more things. Before that, why not? We have to learn first how to write the name of the ligands, because that is very, I think, much important. Many of the time, students just forget to write how to write the name of the ligands, because the different terms used for the ligands, they are not knowing how to write the chlorido, bromido, iodido. Okay, fine, this is a common one. But what about nitrito? Because ambident ligand, we have to be talk about that. Let's discuss about ambident ligand. Students, it's very important to learn here. Ambidentate means ambident ligands are those ligands having two different donor atoms at the same ligand, as NO2 or SCN. These are the, you can say, these are the anionic ligands. This is called nitrito and this is called thiocyanato. Thiocyanato. Okay. Here the nitrogen to the metal, the nitrogen can form bond, or sometime the oxygen can form bond. Here also the sulfur here also. So naming of the bond, how to write the name of the bonds. Okay, suppose these are called nitrito and thiocyanato, as we are adding IDO. One more thing, sometime nitrito and thiocyanato, especially for those most of the time we are using IDO, but sometimes the problem is this is called nitride. So to write the name of this, we are using nitrido, but the problem is this is called nitrite. So we are not using IDO, we are just only add O at the name of the end. Okay, at the end of the name we just add O. So this will be called nitrito, thiocyanato, nitrate, nitrato. The name will be, for example, here see, this is called nitrate. So during the naming of this ligand, it is called nitrato, and this one is nitrito. Okay, so we are, I think you are getting my point. My point is, if the already name contain ite in the end, so it will be ito. But if the name contain ide, it will be end with the ido. So the name, the common term is O. So as hydroxide called hydroxido, cyanide called cyanido, chloride called chlorido, bromide bromido, iodide iodido, the same way nitrite nitrito and thiocyanate thiocyanato. Fine. Okay, one more thing. How we can identify that the nitrito attached with an atom, donor atom or O donor atom? For that we have to be mentioning one different term. How? The name in this case, this is called nitrito N. We have to be mentioned at like nitrito N and nitrito O. With the name we have to mention the donor atom also. this could identify which atom is going to attach with the central atom. So during the naming, we have to mention it. If the donor atom is O, it can be written as nitrite to O, it can be written as nitrite to N. The same way here also, thiocyanate to S and thiocyanate to N. This could be a name of the ambidentate ligand. All those ligands, we have to mention a donor atom as well. Okay. Let's try to name this compound. The name of this compound will be, as we know, name of cation is not there. So we're going to start name of the ligands. The name of the ligands will be chlorido. How many chlorido are there? Hexachlorido. So the name will be like hexachlorido. Then we have to name the name of the central metal atom, iron. That is cobalt here. So hexachlorido cobalt. Then the oxidation number of in a Roman, we have to identify the oxidation number. How we can identify the oxidation number? The identification of the oxidation number is just calculate the oxidation number first. As you know, chloride contain -1 charge, so here will be a -6. Here will be -3, -6 and -3 na. So let's discuss about this. If this Cl3 will not be there, there will be +3 na. If this Cl6, okay, +3. So what will be the naming? What will be the IUPAC naming? Hello? What will be the IUPAC naming? Okay, hello students. Sorry for that. So interruption there. Actually, during calculation, what I got here, actually +3 will be there, but the one problem is there. Cobalt can only show the oxidation number of cobalt is either +3 or cobalt +4 given in our syllabus. +3 and +4 is given in our syllabus. Or what complex I have taken here, during calculation the oxidation number is not satisfied. So this complex cannot be actually a great interruption for that. So it cannot be easily the example of cationic complex. So wrongly I have written this complex in the cationic section, but it could be actually anionic complex. So before going to that, why not we have to be mention it ClCH not. Then we can write here like CONS3. We can take any other example like CONS3 6Cl3. Yes, it can be an example. For example, CONS3 6Cl3, because now the cobalt can carry a +3 ammonia. There is no charge on ammonia because of neutral ligand. So the all three minus charge during calculation you have known, it can be X, then there will be a no charge of this, and then there will be a minus charge, -1 by 1 Cl, then -3 equal to 0. So X can be a +3. So its name can be like, hexaamine. Hexaamine cobalt. The oxidation number in a +3 in a Roman, and then chloride, the counter ion name. Hexaamine cobalt 3 chloride. What was the wrong? The wrong was what I have chosen the example, that is COCl6 and the counter ion was Cl3. During calculation I have got the oxidation number of cobalt that actually go for the oxidation number 9, which cannot be possible because the maximum oxidation number of cobalt can be actually the वैसे तो cobalt there is a S2D7. So maximum oxidation number can be run from the 1 to 7 only, 1 to 7. But it is a most probably the oxidation number can be actually range between the 3 to 4, sometimes 2 also, +2 +3 +4. It is a very common oxidation number of cobalt. So what I have chosen that the example was actually wrong in this section. This can be example in the anionic section, but the same example cannot be here also. And if we have to take the example of chloride, we have to mention some neutral ligand here, and we can put like an example like this. Look at the examples. We can make some example with a Cl. Suppose COCl2, and I am mentioning here some ethane diamine. So like this is a didentate. This is a didentate. For octahedral complex, it can be 2 donor atom in this En. 2 2s are 4 donors, 2s by Cl, so it will be 6. And now we can mention the oxidation number of cobalt. That could be actually 1 Cl in the outside. So we can make an example of this. Now cobalt again contain 3, and there will be Cl2. It will contain 4 oxidation number. How I can identify the oxidation number here? Actually identify the oxidation number. Suppose we have to be here X, then plus -2, there plus 0, and plus -2 equal to 0. So oxidation number can be 4 in the case of Cl2. If there is only Cl, then oxidation number will come as +3. Okay. So you have to be first solve the oxidation number of the central metal atom or ion. How to write the name? Let's discuss about the naming for this same complex given here. To write the name, we have to go with the alphabetical order. As you know, this name is ethane diamine, ethane 1,2-diamine. So there will be E in alphabet. It will be chlorido. So dichlorido, it will be base. Okay. So during naming, we have to first mention the alphabetically A, B, C, D. So chlorido first come. So what is the name? Dichlorido, then base, ethane 1,2-diamine, then cobalt, oxidation number in a Roman. This will be a name. One important thing, that during the writing the name always should be in a small letters, in a single word. There should not be any space. During the writing the name. Okay. So dichlorido base ethane 1,2-diamine. This should be enclosed in a small bracket. Cobalt with a Roman number. Okay. Look at how to write this name. During naming of such compound like this anionic complex, first we have to mention the name of the cations. So here will be name of the cation, that is a potassium. Name of the cation and name of the anion. In the case of counter ion, you have to mention, you have to learn here. During writing the name of the counter ions as anions as cation, the name should be like as the actual original name. Like chloride, we have to write here chloride. Like potassium, we have to write here potassium. And number, how many number of chloride and potassiums are used? No need to mention the number. The repetition number is no need to mention. So you have to just write the counter ion as given only. Chloride. Dichloride, no, it is a wrong one. Tetrapotassium, no, it also a wrong one. You have to be only mention the name given only, the original name, without any numeral prefix or suffix. So it will be potassium. Then you have to mention the name of the ligand, hexacyanido. Now this one is an anionic ligand, so iron must be end with the ATE, ferrate. The name is ferrate, and then oxidation number in a numeral prefix in a Roman. Oxidation number, calculate the oxidation number. K4 means 4 plus, Cn 6 minus, because one Cn can carry a 1 minus. So here will be 6 minus 4, so it will be 2 minus. So iron must be contain a 2 oxidation number. During calculation, you will get the oxidation number of iron is here 2. That is called a ferrous condition. Ferrous condition. If there will be 3, this will be ferric. If I am mentioning here K3, the same complex K3, that will be ferric, and it will be a ferrous only condition. Okay. So you can just write the name of the oxidation number in the square bracket. Now, what you have getting now? During writing the name of the complexes, you have to mention the cationic name, ligand's name. You have to go through some examples, because many of the examples, some of the examples, let's discuss from the book. Many of the examples are given there. Why not you have to be practice some examples from the book one by one, and we try to discuss the name. One by one. The name of, suppose we have one complex, that is CuNH3 4 SO4. What will be the name? You can write the first, identify the type of cationic or anionic complex. That is a anion is counter ion, so complex must be cationic, and you have to be only name the copper. Okay, this is called amine. How many amines are there? Tetraamine. So name will be starting from the name of the ligands, tetraamine, copper. Oxidation number is 2 because this is a neutral one. All SO4 carry -2 charge, so copper must be carry only a +2 charge. So name will be tetraamine copper second sulfate. Okay, fine. Next example, you can mention from the book. I can take some more example like suppose chromium, Cl, some H2O and Cl2. Again, cationic complex. So the name will be, this is called aqua. The special name for the water molecule aqua, for ammonia amine, for carbono. One more thing, carbon monoxide is the neutral, is the ligand. Then name will be a carbonyl. SH thiocarbonyl. SO thiocarbonyl. Okay, NO nitrosyl. These are the some name. Nitrosyl, carbonyl. Carbonate will be same as carbonate. These are the some name. Wait, carbonate will carry negative charge, so that will be carbonate. Carbonate. Chromium. So what can be the name? Name will be 5. So 5 means pentaaqua. Pentaaqua chlorido chromium, and oxidation number is 3. So pentaaqua chlorido chromium third chloride. Okay, this can be the name. So same way, you can practice many of the name from the given section. So I am concluding my lecture here only. You can go through some NCERT given examples in NCERT and try to practice of them. And if suppose there are some problems in the naming, IUPAC naming, so we'll discuss more in a next lecture. Okay. Okay. Bye.